College Algebra, Topic 2.6, problem number 4. We're going to solve this nonlinear inequality, and first I'm going to look at what we need. First, this expression needs to be less than 0. That means that we're looking for negative parts. Less than 0 means less than we need negative parts. And next, there's no equal sign here, so the points that we'll derive from here will all be open, okay, because there's no equal sign. Alright, now let's take this out. 9x minus 6x minus 6x squared, bad looking 6, is equal to 0. And I'm just putting a little slash here to just kind of remind me that it's open. Okay, so I'm going to factor out a 3x, which is the greatest common factor, which leaves 3 minus 2x equals 0. And then I'm going to solve for both parts. 3x set equal to 0, and 3 minus 2x set equal to 0. Okay, and if I divide both sides by 3 here, I'll get x is 0. And here this implies that 3 equals 2x, and divide everything by 2, I get 3 over 2 for x. Okay, so those are my two values there. And my number line, let's put it here, will contain the points 0 and 3 over 2. Okay, some bad 3's. Alright, so let's do some tests. Let's say x equals negative 10 for this piece right here. For this piece, let's say x equals 1. And for this piece over here, let's say x equals 10. So negative 10 first. 3 times negative 10 is negative. And negative 2 times negative 10 is positive 20 and a positive 3, which is all positive. So a positive times a negative all gives me negative. So this entire area is negative. Now, let's say x is 1. 3 times a 1 is positive. Negative 2 times a 1 is negative 2. With a positive 3 makes positive 1. So that's positive times a positive number. So this entire area is positive. Now let's use 10. 3 times 10 is positive. Good. Negative 2 times 10 is negative 20. And a negative 20 with a 3 will be negative. So we have a positive and a negative multiplying, so this whole entire area will be negative. Now remember, everything's open, so this will be open here and open there. And we're looking for the negative parts here, so it'll be this portion and this portion here. So I'll say x will be all the answers from negative infinity till you get right here to 0, and that'll be an open parenthesis, unioned with this part, open parentheses, 3 over 2, comma, and this side keeps going to positive infinity. And so all your solutions are in these areas. Okay, now, next part. We want to solve this, but we can't solve this till this is set against 0. Right now we have 1. So I'm going to bring the 1 to the other side. So x plus 4 and 3x minus 1 is less than or equal to 0. And now it's set against 0. Next, I want to make this all one rational. So I need to multiply the 1 by a 3x over 3x, which is the common denominator here. Okay, so 1 times 3x is, of course, 3x. Let's keep that up there. Okay, and I can now put together my negative 3x together with my positive x. So negative 3x positive x gives me negative 2x plus 4, and everything's over 3x. It's greater than or equal to 0. Okay, now we have it set against 0. So now let's start the problem with this right here. So all of this is equivalent to saying negative 2x plus 4 all over 3x is less than or equal to 0. Alright, this suggests that this portion will be less than 0, so we're looking for negatives. The equal sign is here, so my points for my numerator my numerator points all will be closed because of they'll be equal. So let's take the numerator, negative 2x plus 4, set that equal to 0. And then let's take the denominator, set that equal to 0. I'm using the slash here because denominators are always closed, so it just helps me remember the denominator will always be closed, whereas the numerator follows the sign here, the original sign, or sorry, the original sign here. Alright, let's start solving. Negative 2x plus 4 equals 0 implies negative 2x equals negative 4. And negative 2x equals negative 4 implies x is 2. Okay, 3x equals 0 implies x is 0. So those are our 2 points. So let's put those on the number line. We have our 0 and we have our 2. Now the 2 has an equal sign that reminds me that that'll be closed. The 0 has a not equal sign that reminds me that that's open. Okay. Now let's get some test points. Let's say x here is negative 10, x here is 1, and x here is positive 10. Okay, if I use, let's go back and use negative 10. A negative 10 times a negative 2 is positive 20 plus a 4. That'll be positive. And a negative 10 times a 3 is negative 30, which is negative. So a positive divided by a negative means this area is negative. Now if x is 1, negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 plus a positive 4 gives me a positive. And 3 times 1 is a positive answer. So positive divided by positive means this area is positive. Now if x is 10, we have negative 2 times 10, which is negative 20, plus a 4. That answer will be negative. And 3 times 10 is a positive answer. So a negative divided by a positive answer gives us negative. And remember, we're looking for negatives. So this will be this area and this area, which will be x. The solutions for x will be negative infinity till we get to 0. And because this is open, this will be a parenthesis. And union with this part right here, this will be closed on the 2 and comma to positive infinity.